Out of all of the things that makes someone successful, that is probably the only true underlying continual theme between all of them. This year, that should be your New Year's resolution. Welcome everybody to Self-Storage Income, and today we are in December and we have some real stuff to talk about. Now, I want to talk about today the investing strategy, creating that thesis, that execution overall for anybody, whether you've done nothing, whether you have assets, whether you have an idea but don't know how to implement it. Everybody's looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 step, right? All the way through how to make it work, which we try our best, especially on this podcast, to outline execution. This is why I wrote both books. This is why we have the YouTube channel, which is all just about here are literally the steps to execute. Now, what we find though is first and foremost, steps to execute is not the whole picture. When I was originally looking at scaling businesses, I found that there was these steps in all books, everything that you read. It was like A, B, C, D, and then it would go all the way to X, Y, and Z. And the middle part was missing. This is true with all businesses, industries, any books that are walking you through, trying to help you learn how to invest. But there's a reason why. And that is because the elements when you're starting a business or investing, there are fundamental principles, right, that we look at. There's ways to find value, and there's certain steps that are just given, as in you have to do them, whether that's by law or whether these are just best practices, right, and first principles. So at the end, the art of scaling or your ability to scale after you reach a certain point also has first principles and exact steps that you really do have to take amongst everything else. Obviously, those two, though, are missing a big part in the middle. And the big part in the middle that we're looking at here is a dynamic process. When you look at the first part of getting started, for anyone that's sitting here saying, I want to get started, I don't know how, or anyone that's just in the beginning of it, there are elements within circumstance that dictate how you use each step. So there are varieties of how, when, and where on the implementation. It's never an exact step-by-step. That's not how it works. In fact, it's the opposite. As in, when you guys read a book, when you guys understand or learn about someone that did something, you are learning about what worked in those circumstances at that time with that person's resources. Now, I don't care if you're reading a story that is the traditional entrepreneurship story that has become like idealized in the United States, where it's this hero's journey, started from nothing and then became something and, all that, which is a story format of a version of events, which lots of times is inspirational, but not helpful at all. And the reason being is most of the time it leaves out actually all the things that happened that made it work. For example, Steve Jobs, right, the creator of Apple, how did he do it? Oh, we can talk about all these things he did, everything else, and you read the books on his story. Amazing. But it leaves out actually probably the most important things and why he actually did it. He didn't do it alone, not even remotely close. And a huge portion of his success was purely the VCs that actually taught how to build a business, right? And how to do all these things. They brought resources, tools, everything they didn't have that they didn't know how to make those things function and work. Basically everything under the surface that it takes to create and grow a successful business, right? No way, shape, or form does that undermine Steve Jobs, because it wouldn't be what it is if he wasn't there. Steve Jobs is responsible for Apple, right? And Wozniak. But the point being is the story that everybody gets usually is this easy to follow through hero's journey about an individual. It's not that it's bad at all. I love reading and understanding the mindset of those people, what went into it. That's actually very, very important. But what I am saying is it's not something that you could just simply replicate and do over again because you're missing the meat. Generally, even if it's in storage, if it's in investing or entrepreneurship, those first steps that go in, there's a lot of just how-tos, things you have to know, just straight line, okay? The middle part, though, of scaling and building a business, that is way more dynamic, and it is situational based, predicated on the market, not only your resources, what you have access to, but also the individuals you're hiring, what skills they bring, and those things you just can't write a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-step process. The middle, it's not like that. It doesn't work like that. So the application of your investing thesis or your entrepreneurship venture, right, will vastly depend on what you've created after you've got done with 1, 2, 3, and 4 moving forward. This is important, and let me tell you why. Because the greatest thing about entrepreneurs is they're dynamic. So if there's an entrepreneur that's successful, it's because they changed, and they had to change. And they did, predicated on what was available to them, what the market said, and they did what it took to get it done. Out of all of the things that makes someone successful, that is probably the only true underlying continual theme between all of them. So you have successful people that are, didn't graduate from high school out of the bayou, to multiple degrees from Harvard, Stanford, to people that believe one way or another, people that have totally opposite worldviews, totally opposite thesis, and they're still successful. The underlying thing, though, that ties them all together is that. Basically, maybe grit, perseverance, right, and adaptability are all of those things that come into play. Now, this isn't just fluff. Not at all. In fact, this is the opposite of fluff. It is the single underlying aspect. Now, I want to talk about why and what it means and what you need to do to cultivate it and to have it. Right now, financing for real estate is really hard, even for self-storage. The markets are very challenging. Live Oak Bank is a specialist in financing for self-storage, including SBA loans. They are one of the leaders in financing all sorts of deals and deal size. We trust Live Oak Bank for their specialty in self-storage, their unique approach, and how they help their customers go through the process so there's no surprises. That in itself is a testament to their exceptional service and support. So whether you're looking to acquire, build, or expand a storage facility, Live Oak Bank has to be number one on your list to call. Click the link below right now so you can experience the difference that a dedicated self-storage partner can really make. Now, I grew up in a circumstance probably different from every single person living because we're all different and we all have different backgrounds in the way that we view it. We all have things that we are missing. Every single person listening to this has things that somebody else doesn't have. They also don't have things that other people do. Skill sets that are important to be successful because nobody has all of them. That's not how it works. It doesn't exist like that. So opposites are really important, meaning that the things that can make you great are actually the things that can destroy you. And I am no exception of this. In fact, I am probably the perfect rule of this. I think the things that have made me successful and made me good also can very much damage me. And that is very important to know and understand because I do not think that I can do everything. I do not believe that I have that ability. And not only that, not that I discount, I know where my strengths are and the weaknesses are. When you look, though, at implementation, understanding how your applied skill sets work and how to be dynamic about it is way more, everybody, than I'm good at talking to people or I'm good at underwriting. Those are basic level skill sets that one has developed. Skill sets can be developed and are developed, okay? The nature of you, though, will be applied throughout everything, your company culture, your execution, your investment thesis. And there's no way to get around that. The only thing you can do, though, is be adaptable and learn and work through whatever situation you're going through. So you may have had it hard, okay? You may have had a really rough life. And you may look at others and believe that they have had it easier. I feel weird in this aspect because I feel on one side that I am I'm humbled by what I've been given to be successful. I'm shocked at the opportunities that I've had for no reason to myself, right? Nothing I did. How I grew up in a good family with good parents, how my dad went and sold insurance and started a brokerage firm and taught me how to sell. The opportunities that came with that and how that applied to me. Now, at the same time, I have had very unique and challenging circumstances in my life, and ones that I hope that people never obviously have to go through. That's everything from learning disabilities to, as most people know and are listening to this podcast, the fact that I was paralyzed on life support and I have to now work and deal with those kind of things every single day of my life. And what I found through all of these things where I've failed at business, I've almost gone bankrupt, I've had huge opportunities that I would even argue were handed to me. I didn't do anything to deserve them. And also, I have had the worst things imaginable handed to me. This is true with everyone listening to this, okay? All of us. The difference is what we do with it. I have met people that I believed were handed huge opportunities, but because of other areas where they lack, they literally think that they're just down in the dirt. I have no luck. And they can't even see the opportunities, which I'm like, that is absolutely gold. And you can't even take advantage of it because you're so busy thinking about how you're not like other people and you don't have those opportunities that you actually miss the opportunities that you have that those other people don't. This is so common, especially right now in America. And the idea that certain things can only come certain ways, that's also total BS. That's not true. I have little things to me that I actually think are amazing for individuals. Like I have to think about basic things like walking. I wake up every single morning in pain. I've not woken up not because of pain massively in 7 years. I have to take medications. I can't function. There's all these different things that I have to deal with on a day to day. And I look at it and I'm like, it's just the way it is. Whatever. We'll move past this and we'll figure things out. But I do have to adapt my life, obviously, to some of those things. But it's not a reason for me not to be successful. So what I got curious about was this underlying theme that we may call grit or perseverance. And do you have what it takes? The first thing is, I think everybody does because it's a decision. That's it, simply. Whether I do or not doesn't matter. When a lot of people said, and I hope you guys can use this in your own life, my experience was so extreme that people view it in a very different way, depending on how that person is looking at it. Once a lot of people were like, how did you keep going? Right? So how do you overcome those things and keep going? I am very fortunate that I can walk on my own now, regardless of all the paralysis and problems and issues that I have, which deal with all the time. I don't have a moment in the day that I'm not dealing with those things. But when I got out of the hospital, it was obviously way worse, and it was way worse for years. I was in wheelchair and arm braces, everything else. I started multiple companies up out of my wheelchair. I could only work for a few hours a day, which completely changed how I had to work. And so if I wanted to achieve something, I was completely reliant on other people, which was something that I'd actually gotten used to because I was completely reliant on other people to do everything, to bathe me, to feed me, to do everything. And so my pride was not getting in my way anymore. And I was like, I want to do this. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to find people that can, and we're going to work through it. But a lot of people would simply ask, they're like, I don't know how you kept going. And it's not because I'm great. I'm not here to tell you like, well, here's what I did that you could. No, I just had to. That's it. I didn't really have a choice. So it's not because I think that I was great. It's not because I think that I'm tough or anything else like that, because I'm not. It was just simply I had to. So there was a simple decision to be made. I was either going to be somebody that I didn't know when I was leaving the hospital. I'm like, whoever goes home is going to be this person that I don't know because the old me was gone. It was dead and never coming back. Or I'm going to be this person in a wheelchair. And by in a wheelchair, I didn't mean that I was actually in a wheelchair. That we assumed. We never thought I'd walk. I meant the mentality of an idea that I can't do anything. And so I just had to make a decision. Those are my two choices here. Which am I going to pick? Okay, I'm going to pick whatever it is that I don't know, and I'm going to try to become something that I don't understand because the alternative is not good. And I think that that is important when people are looking and trying to say, I don't have grit, I don't have perseverance. That is this idea of this pretty comeback story, this overcoming the harsh realities of life. First of all, discounting because what you're going through is not the same as what others. You may go, yeah, but I don't have problems like you do. First of all, your brain doesn't know that. It doesn't work like that. A problem is a problem. And two, to be honest, there's other issues that may seem not nearly as big in life that if I had, I don't know that I would have been able to overcome. So don't discount anything you're going through. Don't do that to yourself. Call it what it is, and then make a choice. I'm either going to overcome this or not. And this is something that I found about successful people. That choice isn't a one and done. That is a choice that they relive all the time. When markets go bad, when they're publicly embarrassed, when investments or businesses fail, they have to just keep making the choice. Am I just giving up? I'm done, or am I going to keep going? It's not a one and done. The mentality is consistently making a choice to improve. This is important when you're looking at your business and your investment thesis, because the applied practices of the steps at the beginning and the end and also the middle are simply decisions given in that moment of what needs to be done, predicated on your goal, your resources, the timing, and everything else included. So we can lay out in this podcast, in my book, everything else, all the how-to. The application of it, though, is not going to be simple. It wasn't for us. It wasn't for anybody. We did not know that certain assets would, or businesses would be successful like they would. We had a thesis and we hoped that they would, the degree at which we didn't know. It's only in hindsight. We've had endless amount of times where I just thought, all right, I'm not going anywhere. This is just going to fail. And then the idea would be, do I just give up, or this is stupid? Should I go away? There comes back down to first principles. Do these things work? Will they work in the long run? Is this what I'm trying to create or build? And how do I implement it today? First principles that in these times of worry, distress, or hardship, you need to go back to, and you need to make the decisions surrounding them. And you just need to make that decision over and over and over again. When you're trying to build and create, to assume the conditions are going to be given to you that you want is insane, because the market does not care about you. The world doesn't care about you. That's not how it works. So you will be given what you're given. It is your choice to make something of it. That simple. It really is. Technology is the name of the game, and how you operate your facility and the efficiency at which you can operate will depend on the technology you use. Your property management system, what it allows you to do, and what you have access will determine the outcome of how that facility performs. That's why we go with Tenant Inc. with their product Hummingbird, because they are the best in class when dealing with automation, when dealing with move-ins, customer acquisition process, improving my online acquisition process. They are bar none the best. So if you are looking to automate your facility or operate it in a best in class way, make sure you guys are looking at Tenant Inc. and their product Hummingbird. The link is in the description. I have an idea that we create our own luck. And I firmly believe in this. Why? Because people that do certain things end up having lots of luck. Why? Because they know where luck originates and they just put themselves in those positions. So they're going to where opportunity is and they know how to identify it. So of course they find it. If you are waiting at home watching Netflix, you don't have good friends, you're not putting yourself in good places, you're not researching, the fact that you don't have opportunities is because of you. I don't know what else to say. You're not going out and finding it. Opportunities are out there, but that doesn't mean they're going to be given to you, because guess what? You don't know it even if they are. That's the thing. People that say, I don't have any opportunities, actually do. They just don't see them. They just don't know because they don't have any idea of what opportunities really look like. So yes, you absolutely can create your own luck. That does not mean, though, that you will not have hardships. That doesn't mean it's going to happen in the way you want it. So, do you have what it takes? Do you have the ability to make the decision? Can you make the decision every single day? I'm hurt, I'm tired, I can't do this, I'm not as smart, I don't have these opportunities right now. Yeah, but I'm going to go and I'm going to learn about opportunity. I'm going to put myself in the position where opportunities arrive. I'm going to put myself and surround myself with people that will allocate and help me get resources and ability to exercise those options, to capitalize on those opportunities. So there's active things that you have to do to make opportunities a reality. Now, once again, it doesn't mean that it's easy for all of you watching this YouTube video. It's probably a little awkward because I'm sweating, and I'm actually sweating quite a bit. And that is due to the fact that my body's in severe pain. And so I have a choice. Do I make this YouTube video? Do I make this podcast? Do I share with you the things that I've learned and I'm trying to apply? Or do I just say, listen, I don't feel good at all. I'm not going to do anything. And that was my choice. I had to make it. Does it mean it looks good? No, it doesn't. Doesn't mean it's not embarrassing. No, it is. And does it mean that I should say it's not going to be perfect? And not only that, it might not be great. There's a whole bunch of you that may listen to this episode and simply say, that wasn't a great episode, AJ, because that's not what I wanted to hear. Or that wasn't a great episode because I could tell you were struggling or you weren't with it. So then it becomes, well, I guess I just don't do it, right? But I made the choice. No, I'm going to do it. My listeners, they're expecting to hear from me. I have to do these things because I'm the one that does it. This is what drives opportunity capital. This is what drives our ability to exercise on opportunities in the marketplace because I'm creating them, because I'm networking and people are hearing from me. And this is a main driver of delivering value, which for us is a fundamental belief that the more value I give, the more we will receive. So even though all those things are taking place, even though, yeah, it's probably embarrassing for me, and a lot of you probably don't like this episode or won't like it, and if you're watching YouTube, you're like, this guy's weird, he's sitting here sweating. I get it. It sucks, but it is what it is, and I can't change those things, but I still can make a decision. We're about to move into the next year. A lot of people are thinking about goals, opportunities, everything else. Forget all of that and just make one simple one, and that's that you will make the decision to do. Every day, you're just going to make a decision and you're going to call it out. And two, if you make the decision not to, that's fine, but call it out. Not an excuse. Say, I am making a decision here to not do that thing. Take responsibility upon yourself. And that will actually give you the ability to make good decisions, even in the future, which I do all the time. There are plenty of days that I'm like, oh, I can't function today. I'm going to make a decision not to, okay? But I'm aware of it and I take responsibility for it. And then the next day I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that again. I got to move. So when it comes to, do you have what it takes, regardless of opportunities, regardless of knowledge, regardless of the people that you know, the resources or the money you have, do you have what it takes to make the decision to do even when you're not ready, even when you're embarrassed, even when you're not prepared, even when you don't know how it'll work, even if you fail, even if you hurt, even if on and on and on and on and on. If you have what it takes to make the decision to simply say, yes, I'm going to do, you will get lucky. You will have opportunity. and you will be successful. You will also fail. You will also be embarrassed. You will also say stupid things and do stupid things, and you will make mistakes. You will let other people down. You will be ridiculed. That will all happen. But guess what? That's going to happen either way. So if you're trying to avoid those things in life, good luck, because no matter what, those things are going to happen. So you already get the bad. You might as well try to get the good while you're with it. This year, take responsibility, make the decisions. I don't care what's on TV. I don't care if the world's failing. I don't care whatever you think on things that you don't know, whether you feel good, whether you're discounting yourself, your abilities. Instead of doing that, just say, all right, I'm not good at this. What do I need to be better? Okay, I don't know this. That's fine. I need to learn. I don't have connections. I need to get them. I don't have money. I need to get it. On and on and on and on. The fact that you know it is great. Now do something about it. And this year, that should be your New Year's resolution. It's not the goal. It's what you need to do to get there, and that you're gonna make the decision to do it. Anyways, everyone, I know this wasn't a traditional episode, and I apologize if this is not what you were expecting or thinking. And I apologize that maybe I'm not at 100% today. Maybe today I'm at 30%, but I'm still here. I'm still doing it. I'm still trying. I'm still working hard. And I will continue to next year, and I hope you do along with me. Now, I'm going to ask something from you guys, because I am trying to do it. I'd ask you to do something for me. Please leave a review. Give me a 5-star rating. Give me a great review if you like it. Let me know what you think. That actually helps me. And I'd ask more of you to ask others what you need and ask for help, because you can't do it alone. And too many think that they can. And that's so overwhelming, it'll crush you. But once you realize that you need others, once you realize that's okay, in fact, that's what makes you great, then anything will be possible, because you don't need to be a certain way. You just need to find others, people, things, circumstances that you don't have, that you lack, and then you can create anything. They're simply tools and skill sets. There's no leader, there's no CEO, there's no successful person that could do what it took to build and make it. That doesn't happen. They're just really good at knowing what they need and what they can't do, and finding others that can and bringing them on, sharing their vision, creating something for the future that others are creating with them and building. And they ask for help. Thanks, everybody.